good.
Hey everyone, my name is Sina Makari, here with my co-host Jack Stevenson.
Hello.
And this is the OGMA podcast. Today we're joined by a very special guest, Eve Halimi. Eve is the co-founder and co-CEO of Alinea, an exciting investment app that makes it easier for Gen Z, women, and people of color to invest in the stock market. In 2021, Alinea was accepted into Y-Combinator, a highly prestigious startup incubator that gives guidance and mentorship to early-stage startups. Other Y-Combinator companies include Airbnb, Coinbase, Stripe, Dropbox, Twitch, and Reddit. Alinea recently raised a $2.1 million seed round, which we'd like to congratulate her and her team on. Before starting Alinea, Eve worked in many diverse roles in the world of business. She was a hedge fund intern at Hallister Partners, an assistant analyst intern at the brokerage firm Oscar Gruss, was a marketing intern at Mogul Incorporated, and a cash equity intern at Goldman Sachs. She was also a marketing intern for White Wall magazine. Eve graduated from Columbia University in 2019 with a bachelor's degree in economics. With all of her relevant experience, it seems like she's the perfect person to be starting an investment app. Thank you for coming today, Eve. It's great to have you.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for this warm intro. That was very sweet. I'm excited to be here today.
Awesome. Well, we're more than welcome to have you here. So just right off the bat, can you talk a bit about Alinea and explain what stacks are?
For sure. So you can think of stacks as playlists for investing. I think that's the easiest way to think about it. Think of Alinea as your Spotify for investing app. We really want new investors, new members of the investing community to feel like they can start investing easily, and stacks offer that for them.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And, I actually downloaded your app today just to kind of check it out a bit. And it's cool how you have that little intro video that kind of gives you an overall guide of how to use the app and the different components of it.
I'm glad you like that.
So just kind of taking a step aside from Alinea for a brief moment, what was it like raising a seed round, and what is your advice for founders who are looking to raise seed money?
Great question. So we were on a time crunch with Y-Combinator, and there's nothing better than to give yourself a deadline when you're raising funds. You want to create that FOMO effect with investors, like saying that everyone wants to invest in your round so that you can get the top investors at your cap table. But it was, my calendar was filled from 7 a.m. till 9 p.m. where I had probably like a 15-minute lunch break and a 15-minute like walk break. And then I spoke to over 80 investors. Very challenging, but you get better at pitching over time.
Yeah, that's amazing. So I think a lot of founders will find that info useful. So I guess Jack has the next question.
Yeah, so one of the trends that's currently taking place within the investing space is the crypto world, as I'm sure you're very familiar with. So I just wanted to ask, what do you think what do you think about the crypto space, and is Alinea involved in it or have plans to enter it?
Yeah. So fun fact, when I started working on Alinea, I wanted it to be a Coinbase competitor. I was trying to be a crypto app for more women and more minorities. Because at the time in 2019, there were only 7% of women investing in Bitcoin. But I am a huge crypto fan. I wrote a 160-page thesis paper on crypto my senior year at Columbia University. So I am very bullish on crypto. We're working on integrating crypto. It's going to be live in the coming months.
That's very interesting. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's awesome. So another question that I'm really curious about, can you talk a little bit about what ESG is? Because Alinea has, I find that it has quite a bit of a focus on ESG. So what is ESG and why do you care about it?
Yeah, great question. So when I first started investing and I had received my first paycheck from Goldman Sachs, got a bit of money in the bank. Now I didn't want it to be sitting around. I wanted to invest there. when I got on all the investing apps that were on the App Store, I literally downloaded over 20 investing apps, no joking. I was really challenged by, so I invested in the tech stocks, I invested in some ETFs, I put some money in the S&P 500, but I put some money in crypto, of course. I wanted to invest in an impactful way as well. I wanted more transparency around companies, diversity structure, what are they doing in terms of their carbon emission. And I found it very difficult to get information on the environmental, social, and governance aspects of all these companies. That was a big inspiration for Alinea starting. We're currently working with MSCI, which is the biggest ESG provider out there today, to get this data. But I'm also looking to incorporate other ESG companies and transparency focused companies to add things as how many women are on a board of a company, how many Black people are on a board of a company, what's the diversity breakdown. And I really think that transparency needs to be, it's not just about the numbers when you're investing, it's not just about the quantitative focus, but also about the qualitative focus. And that's, it's a big mission of mine to make that more apparent in investing.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm sure that's a very big trend we're seeing. So thank you for working on that.
Mm-hmm. So I think for most people, when they do go into the whole entrepreneurial route and they have their startup going, a big part of that is to raise a seed round. And then one other better component than that is to go to Y-Combinator. So once again, congratulations for that. So I'm sure the viewers would love to hear about this. And we just wanted to ask you, what are your tips for getting into Y-Combinator?
Yeah, that's great. So actually, I really encourage everyone when they have a startup to try out as many accelerators as possible. Because when you're applying to an accelerator, and start with your school's accelerator. Like our first accelerator was a Columbia University accelerator called Alma Works. When you're writing those applications down, it helps you structure your business plan. It helps you structure your idea and where you want it to go. So that is key, because the Y Combinator application is very hard. It's like writing an application for an Ivy League, and it's you have to write it in a specific way, and having that exercise of applying to a few incubators or accelerators beforehand will help you get in. Then the biggest tip for getting into Y Combinator is your one-liner. YC cares first and foremost about that hook that you're going to sell them on. What they really love seeing is that you're comparing yourself to a bigger player. So a lot of like the good ones, the best ones out there were like Robinhood for LATAM, or Brex for this. So it's an easy visual. Sorry.
No worries.
It was my Wi-Fi is so bad.
No. You were talking about one-liners and comparing yourself with bigger players.
With other bigger players. So like using, for us, it was Robinhood for women when we initially applied. But yeah, I highly encourage everyone who has a startup to try out incubators. We did about 3 incubators, and we had full-time jobs with my co-founder, Nam, while we were doing these incubators. So it's possible for anyone who's in school, who's working, to be doing both at the same time. And it will really help you raise a seed round. After getting into Y Combinator, we only had investor inbound. Like it was hundreds of investors reaching out to us, which made the process much easier.
Thank you for that. That's really interesting, and I'm sure very motivating for our audience.
Yeah, that's excellent. So another thing that is really, really interesting about you is you and your co-founder were mentored by Michael Siebel, who was the co-founder of Twitch, the very popular, gaming website. What was it like being mentored by the co-founder of Twitch?
It's like having a meeting with a person that blows your mind every time you're in a room with them. You can spend up 10 to 30 minutes with them, and you're always mind fucked at the end of it. He's quite a unique person. I have never met someone else like him. in terms of mentorship and in terms of guidance. He always has the right thing to do, and he always has a solution to any problem. The best mentorship and the best advice he gave us was just get shit done. Stop talking, stop planning, just do it. And it was always very hard advice.
Wait, sorry.
Was yeah.
I feel compelled, right? I don't know the algorithm of TikTok. I just don't want you to get flagged for swear words.
Oh, right.
Do you wanna start over? I don't care personally. I just want to.
No, you're right. You're totally right. Okay, I'll start over.
No, it's all good. I'll do the question again, and don't worry, I'll clip it. It's all good. But yeah, so something that's really interesting about you is you were actually mentored by Michael Seidel, who is the co-founder of Twitch, the very popular gaming website. What was it like being mentored by the co-founder of Twitch, such an amazing company?
Yeah, there's no one quite like him out there. He's a unique persona. He blows your mind every time you have a meeting with him, and he helps you get in order. The best advice he gave us was to just get things done. We had a plan with him that every week we had these goals for ourselves, and if we didn't get to those goals, we had to make sure they were achieved by the next week. Otherwise, we were at risk of losing our spot at Y-Combinator. And having that kind of pressure, or putting that kind of that pressure on yourself, essentially, really helps you getting things done. His best advice was stop planning, just do it.
That's amazing. Yeah. Thank you for that.
So you talk about doing all these incredible things while working a full-time job, and you already have a very impressive resume as it is. So we were just wondering, how did you stay motivated throughout all this time while building Alinea?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm going to quote Paul Graham, who was one of the Y-Combinator founders. He says oftentimes, if you have an idea that you're constantly thinking about in the shower, you should pursue it. And that's how I felt about Alinea. I was so passionate about it that on my weekends, instead of going to brunch, I would just spend it in my room working on Alinea.
That's awesome.
Yeah, finding your passion. We had a video on that earlier. So yeah, if you want to learn more about finding your passion, definitely check that out. But kind of linking back to that last question, what in your opinion, are characteristics of really effective founders?
Yeah, passionate is a huge one of them. An executor. There's a lot of founders I see out there that have great visions. They just don't know how to execute. And hardworking, and a motivator. You have to motivate your employees. You have to motivate your team. So I think those ones, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you for that.
Mm-hmm. So we just wanted to ask, what is it like being a female founder, and how can we encourage more women to pursue entrepreneurship?
It's tough. You're the only one in the room sometimes. And when you're pitching to investors, 98% of the time it'll be an old white man. It was really sad when I was pitching. There was only one Black man I spoke to and two women with whom I spoke with out of those 80 plus investors. Yeah, I mean, I'm fortunate enough to have another great co-founder by my side, who's a woman, and it's pretty cool. I don't let it deter me or scare me away.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's excellent. And you're obviously we think Alinea, like, we're really big fans of Alinea. So
big fans of you guys.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, maybe you can be like our 26th follower. But
it will be.
Yeah, but once Alinea pops off and just really goes to the moon, you'll be leading the way for inspiring many women and underrepresented groups. So it's really great to see that. Thank you. So we're gonna end off this podcast with a little bit of like a little less of a serious question. Okay, so on another podcast you were on, you said that you don't really eat very healthy, right? And that's fair. Like that's the same with a lot of people. What's your go-to fast food place?
Shake Shack.
We don't have that in Canada, unfortunately.
Oh.
I've never been. Yeah.
Shake Shack is like a high-end fast food place. It like makes you feel like you're eating healthy, but you're not.
Okay.
It sounds like we need one in Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
We gotta open up a Shake Shack in Canada. And then I mean I still eat McDonald's quite too much.
No, it's all good. You're based in New York. We went over there. We had a layover, and there's a McDonald's on every block. It's just amazing to see. Like, it's pretty incredible.
It's great.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. But yeah, so Eve, thank you so much. Like I said before, we're huge fans of what you and your co-founder are doing. Can you give like a quick plug to our audience to kind of let them know how they can download the app, which countries it's available in? And
yes. Yeah, so it's available in the US. Unfortunately, only in the US for now. You can be an international student. You only need a social security number to start investing. And it's on iOS for now. We're releasing an Android version very soon.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks again, Eve. This was a great podcast. And like I said before, we're a bit smaller, but once we grow our audience more,
what is your TikTok?
Oh, it's ogma.tutoring.
All right, so I will go ahead and stop the recording.